Success leaves clues, and the most accomplished individuals in every field share powerful habits that shape their mindset, work ethic, and results. This book uncovers the 10 most common habits found in successful people across the world. Introduction. Success is often misunderstood as a result of extraordinary talent, privilege, or luck. But when you closely study those who consistently achieve greatness, a different pattern emerges, one rooted in deliberate and disciplined daily habits. These habits are not random or born out of impulse. They are intentional routines developed over time through self-awareness, goal setting, failure, reflection, and relentless pursuit of improvement. Successful people, regardless of their background, education, or social status, tend to operate with a specific mindset and structure to their lives. They do not allow circumstances to dictate their behavior. Instead, they rely on internal principles and focused habits that direct their actions and decisions. While the world may see the outcomes, wealth, recognition, health, or influence, what lies beneath is a framework of simple but powerful habits that are repeated with consistency. These individuals wake up with purpose, manage their time with precision, guard their energy, and choose learning over entertainment. They value progress over perfection, relationships over popularity, and responsibility over excuses. They do not wait for motivation. They build systems that function even on days when they don't feel like showing up. This book explores those very systems, the 10 foundational habits that are found time and again in the lives of high performers, leaders, entrepreneurs, athletes, creatives, and visionaries. It is not a book filled with fluff or abstract inspiration. Instead, it offers you a clear and practical look into how successful people think and act differently than the average person. You will not find overnight hacks here, because success is never instant. But what you will find are deeply rooted patterns that anyone can adopt, regardless of where they are starting from. These habits are accessible, but they demand commitment and honesty. They challenge your current mindset and stretch your comfort zone. They require consistency, not intensity. And the truth is, if you master these habits, they will quietly transform the way you live, work, think, and interact with the world. Whether your dream is to achieve financial freedom, lead a meaningful life, build a thriving business, grow spiritually, or simply become more disciplined, these habits are your tools. This book is your invitation to study them, apply them, and ultimately master them. Your results will not depend on your potential, but on the habits you choose to build every day. Success is not exclusive. It is earned through discipline and maintained by daily decisions. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You just need to start building the right habits, one at a time, until success becomes not just a goal, but your natural way of living. Chapter 1. Wake up early. Waking up early is not just a habit, it is a mindset, a ritual, and a secret weapon that has been practiced by some of the most successful individuals in history, from entrepreneurs and CEOs to athletes, military leaders, and spiritual masters. The act of rising before the rest of the world is not about simply changing your alarm clock time. It's about transforming your relationship with time, productivity, self-discipline, and purpose. When you wake up early, truly early, not just a few minutes before you need to leave for work, you create space between you and the world. You gain quiet hours where your mind is free from notifications, conversations, noise, stress, and expectations. In this space, the mind becomes fertile ground for creativity, clarity, and focus. Your ability to think deeply, solve problems, reflect, and visualize your goals is sharper in the early morning than at any other time of the day. This is not only a psychological effect, but a biological one. Your brain has just rested, your stress hormones are low, and you haven't yet been exposed to decision fatigue or emotional interference. Those who rise early use this time to review their goals, journal their thoughts, visualize their future, exercise their bodies, nourish themselves with healthy routines, and prepare mentally for the challenges ahead. By the time most people are just waking up, early risers have already built momentum, gained clarity, and invested hours into their mind and body, while others are still hitting snooze, scrolling their phones, or rushing out the door. Waking up early is not about sacrificing sleep, but about managing sleep with intention, going to bed earlier, improving sleep quality, and waking with purpose. Successful people protect their mornings like sacred territory, because they know that whoever controls the beginning of the day controls the tone and trajectory of everything that follows. The morning becomes a foundation, one of structure, calm, and power. While the average person reacts to life, the early riser creates it. This habit creates emotional stability, as you are less likely to be overwhelmed, anxious, or irritable when you've had time to center yourself before the chaos begins. It also sets the tone for discipline. Every time you wake up early when it's hard, you train your mind to obey your decisions instead of your emotions. You gain inner power by not negotiating with your comfort. And this discipline spills over into everything: your work, your focus, your attitude, and your consistency. Waking up early gives you the psychological advantage of starting ahead of others, which naturally builds confidence and mental strength. It helps you feel like you're ahead of the game, not playing catch-up. It allows you to engage in what matters to you before you give your energy to the world: your health, your goals, your learning, your silence, your intention. These hours are yours, and what you do with them shapes everything. This habit also trains you to be proactive instead of reactive. You become the designer of your day rather than a victim of its demands. You walk into situations prepared, calm, and already sharpened, because you've already exercised your willpower and mental faculties when others haven't even gotten started. You are less likely to procrastinate when your day starts with structure and clarity. Early rising is also a powerful time to reaffirm your beliefs. Feed your mind positive input and reflect on the direction of your life. Even just 30 to 60 minutes of silence, reading, meditation, or planning can redirect your entire week, month, and year. Over time, the compound effect of rising early becomes undeniable. If you wake up 2 hours earlier than most people for 1 year, that gives you 730 extra hours, or over 30 full days of productivity that others miss. Think about how much your life could change in just one of those months. Now multiply that by 10 years, 20 years, a lifetime. Early risers are not superhuman. They are simply intentional. They recognize that the way you start anything determines how it will unfold, and they protect that starting point like their future depends on it, because it does. The hardest part is the first few days, where your body resists and your old identity tries to pull you back into comfort. But once your mind adapts and your sleep cycle aligns, waking up early becomes not only easy, it becomes necessary. You no longer want to sleep in, because you've seen what those hours can do. You've tasted the stillness, the clarity, the power. And you realize the world doesn't need to change for you to succeed. You just need to wake up before it. This single habit, when fully embraced, has the power to multiply your results, sharpen your mind, increase your peace, and elevate your entire lifestyle. It's not about being busy in the morning. It's about being aligned, prepared, and ahead. That's what waking up early truly offers a head start on life, every single day. Chapter 2. Set clear goals. Setting clear goals is the fundamental habit that gives structure, purpose, and direction to the lives of all successful people, because without clarity of intention, energy becomes scattered, and effort becomes wasted. Life will always present distractions, demands, and noise, and without clearly defined targets, it's easy to drift aimlessly, get lost in meaningless tasks, or chase things that don't actually lead to fulfillment. Successful individuals never leave their direction to chance. They sit down with themselves, think deeply about what they truly want, why they want it, what it will take to get there, and how their current lifestyle needs to change to align with that vision. They understand that goals are not just about achievement. They are about alignment with purpose. Clear goals are powerful because they shift your energy from passive wishing to active pursuit. There is a massive difference between saying, "I want to be successful," and saying, "I will earn $100,000 per year by building a digital business within 18 months by working 3 focused hours every morning." One is a vague idea. The other is a detailed roadmap. The brain thrives on specificity. When you define exactly what you want, your subconscious mind begins working like a GPS system. It starts filtering out irrelevant options and guiding you toward the opportunities, people, ideas, and actions that align. This is supported by neuroscience through the reticular activating system, RAS, which acts like a lens, helping you focus only on what matters. The clearer your goals, the more your brain starts seeing the world through the filter of that vision. Almost like reality begins bending toward your intention. High achievers revisit their goals daily, weekly, and monthly. They write them down, not once, but repeatedly. They visualize them. They emotionally connect with them. They break them down into mini goals, habits, and milestones that create forward movement. They know that a big goal with no clear steps becomes overwhelming, so they create a structured daily actions, weekly tasks, monthly benchmarks that allow them to feel progress. That progress builds momentum. That momentum builds belief. And that belief creates consistency. Setting goals also brings purpose to pain. It transforms sacrifice into investment. When you have a goal that deeply matters to you, waking up early, saying no to distractions, working through fear, or pushing through setbacks becomes meaningful, not burdensome. Goals provide the why that fuels the how. Every successful person uses goals to control their focus, time, emotions, and discipline. They do not wake up and guess what to do. They already know, because their goals give them clarity. And this clarity creates peace. While most people feel overwhelmed because they're doing too many things without direction, successful individuals reduce their life to what matters most and remove everything else. Their lives become cleaner, simpler, and more focused. Every decision they make is filtered through one question. Does this bring me closer to my goal or further away from it? That kind of clarity leads to accelerated growth. Setting clear goals also builds confidence, because every time you achieve a small step toward a bigger goal, your self-belief increases. It shows you that your life is within your control. You don't have to rely on external validation or luck. You are the architect. And when setbacks happen, which they always do, clear goals give you something to return to recalibrate, and to start again with purpose. Successful people also set goals across every dimension of life, not just money or career. They set fitness goals to stay strong, relationship goals to stay connected, spiritual goals to stay grounded, learning goals to stay sharp, and lifestyle goals to stay balanced. They treat goal setting like a life design process. They know that what gets measured gets managed. What gets visualized becomes real. And what gets tracked creates transformation. Without goals, time is just passing. With goals, time becomes a tool. You begin to live on purpose instead of by accident. Goal setting also develops emotional maturity because you begin to take responsibility for your life. You stop blaming circumstances or people and start focusing on what you can control. Your attention becomes sharper. Your actions become more intentional. Your discipline becomes more meaningful. You don't just do things to stay busy, you act with purpose. You speak, move, and work with a sense of direction. And that direction creates a magnetic force in your life that pulls results, people, and opportunities toward you. You don't have to chase everything, you just align with what matters most. And that's what clear goal setting truly gives you. Power, focus, motivation, peace, structure, confidence, alignment, and results. Over time, your life begins to transform not because of one lucky break, but because you repeatedly chose to define your path, walk it daily, and never lose sight of your vision. Clear goals are the blueprint for a successful life. Without them, you may work hard, but get nowhere. With them, every step takes you exactly where you are meant to be. Chapter 3. Prioritize daily planning. Prioritizing daily planning is not just a habit, it is a lifestyle structure that separates high achievers from the distracted masses, because it transforms an ordinary 24 hours into a powerful, intentional framework for growth, productivity, and peace of mind. Successful people don't stumble through their day hoping for results. They design their day deliberately, often the night before or during their early morning rituals, because they understand that how a day begins determines how it ends. They realize that time is life, and if you don't control your time, you're essentially giving away your life to randomness, interruptions, and distractions. Daily planning is not about being rigid or controlling every second. It's about creating a clear, flexible blueprint that helps you maximize every hour with intentionality. This means identifying the most important tasks that truly matter, not just urgent things, but meaningful work that moves you toward your long-term goals and personal vision. Most people confuse being busy with being productive, but successful individuals know that doing 10 low-value tasks means nothing if the high-value task is ignored. So they prioritize with strategy, using techniques like the Eisenhower matrix to separate what is urgent from what is important, and they make sure that every day includes at least 1 to 3 high-impact activities that create real momentum. They often use tools like digital calendars, planners, or handwritten journals to block time. SCHEDULE deep work sessions, allocate breaks, and create buffers between meetings or responsibilities so their mind can reset. They understand that the mind needs space to recover, so part of planning also includes rest, movement, and recovery periods. They avoid multitasking and instead schedule focus periods, where they give full attention to one important task without interruptions. This single focus approach compounds results faster than jumping from task to task without completing anything meaningful. They also use planning as a way to emotionally prepare for the day. They review upcoming conversations, potential obstacles, and mentally rehearse how they will respond, so they are not caught off guard or emotionally reactive. Daily planning builds internal strength, because when you take time to plan, you are telling yourself, my time matters. My life has purpose. I am in control. Over time, this discipline of planning builds trust in yourself, reduces anxiety, and boosts confidence because you no longer feel lost or overwhelmed. You know exactly what needs to be done and why. It turns chaos into clarity and random action into intentional execution. Planning your day also helps you maintain balance between different areas of life. High performers don't only plan for work, they plan time for health, family, learning, reflection, spiritual growth, and relaxation, because they understand that success is holistic. A well-planned day allows them to live fully and avoid burnout. They leave room for the unexpected while staying anchored in their priorities. They reflect on yesterday's wins and mistakes and use that feedback to improve today. They ask powerful questions like, what must get done today to make this day a win? And what can I eliminate that doesn't serve me anymore? This daily questioning sharpens their focus and helps them constantly optimize how they live. Successful people also know that consistent daily planning leads to weekly clarity, monthly progress, and yearly breakthroughs. Each well-planned day is a brick in the foundation of an extraordinary life. Planning also gives you the freedom to say no with confidence, when your day is already planned. You don't feel guilty about declining invitations or distractions that don't align with your purpose. It turns vague intentions into specific commitments. Most people operate in reactive mode, letting emails, texts, social media, and other people dictate what they do. But successful people live in proactive mode because they already know what matters most. They also review their plans midday or at the end of the day, adjusting if needed, but always keeping their big picture in mind. They don't plan once and forget. They stay engaged with their plans, which keeps their mind focused and aligned. This habit, practiced daily, builds mental resilience, enhances decision-making, and reinforces a strong identity as someone who is disciplined, organized, and intentional. Without daily planning, even a genius mind can be wasted. But with it, even ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results because they focus on execution, not just ideas. Success is not the result of luck. It's the result of thousands of well-planned days stacked together. Daily planning is how dreams become plans, and plans become action, and action becomes a legacy. Chapter 4. Continuous Learning. Continuous learning stands as an essential pillar in the lives of all successful individuals, for it is the unending quest for knowledge, skill, and self-improvement that allows them to stay ahead in an ever-changing, unpredictable world where static knowledge quickly becomes obsolete. They fully grasp that the environment around them, technology, industries, markets, human behavior is evolving at an accelerating pace. And only those who dedicate themselves to constant growth can remain relevant, competitive, and innovative. Successful people do not consider learning as something that ends with formal education. Instead, it becomes a deliberate, lifelong commitment and a core mindset that guides every decision and action they take. They engage in a diverse range of learning activities, reading books across different genres, consuming podcasts that offer fresh perspectives, attending seminars and workshops to deepen expertise, taking online courses to acquire new skills, and seeking mentorship to gain insights from experienced individuals. This variety ensures their minds remain flexible and open, avoiding intellectual stagnation. They are driven by curiosity and humility. Curiosity fuels their desire to understand the world better, while humility keeps them open to new ideas and willing to admit that no matter how much they know, there is always more to learn. Importantly, they embrace failure as a crucial part of the learning process, rather than fearing it, analyzing mistakes to extract lessons and adjust their strategies accordingly, which leads to faster improvement. Their brains are treated like muscles that need regular exercise through challenging mental tasks and exposure to novel concepts. They schedule learning consistently, often daily, building it into their routines through morning reading sessions, reflection journaling, or engaging in meaningful conversations, ensuring it becomes a habit rather than a sporadic activity. Learning is not abstract or disconnected from reality. Instead, it is highly practical, with a focus on immediate application. Successful people test what they learn in real-life situations, observe the outcomes, and refine their understanding based on feedback, creating a powerful cycle of continuous improvement. This process accelerates their growth far beyond those who passively consume information without applying it. Moreover, continuous learners develop superior problem-solving and critical thinking abilities because their minds accumulate a rich repository of knowledge and diverse viewpoints, allowing them to make smarter, faster decisions and innovate by connecting ideas that others overlook. Their commitment to learning also fosters adaptability, a crucial trait in a world where disruption is the norm. When industries shift or unexpected challenges arise, they can pivot with confidence because they are not tied down by outdated knowledge or rigid thinking. Beyond intellectual growth, continuous learning nurtures emotional intelligence and resilience as they constantly engage in self-reflection, seek feedback, and improve their interpersonal skills, leading to better relationships and leadership abilities. They surround themselves with other passionate learners, creating networks and mastermind groups that provide support, challenge assumptions, and inspire new growth. This community aspect amplifies their learning and motivates them to maintain momentum. Furthermore, successful people approach learning as a lifelong identity. They do not view success as a destination, but as a journey of perpetual development. They know that resting on past achievements leads to complacency and eventual decline, so they invest time and energy to stay curious, agile, and informed. They also understand that knowledge alone is not enough. Wisdom comes from the integration of knowledge, experience, and reflection. Therefore, they allocate time not only to acquiring facts, but also to thinking deeply, meditating on lessons, and synthesizing new ideas. This habit enriches their creativity and strategic vision. In essence, continuous learning is the bedrock upon which all other success habits build, because it equips individuals to evolve, overcome obstacles, seize opportunities, and lead with confidence in a complex world. Those who commit to it transform ordinary lives into extraordinary ones by constantly upgrading their skills, expanding their horizons, and becoming masters of change instead of victims of circumstance. Continuous learning is not optional, but mandatory for anyone seeking to excel over the long term. It powers innovation, fuels motivation, nurtures resilience, and ultimately unlocks the full potential of the human mind and spirit in a dynamic, ever-evolving landscape. Chapter 5. Take care of health. Taking care of health is an absolutely fundamental habit embraced by all successful individuals because they recognize that physical, mental, and emotional well-being form the essential foundation that supports every other aspect of a productive and fulfilling life. Without a healthy body and mind, all ambitions, talents, and efforts are severely limited, and sustainable success becomes nearly impossible. These individuals approach health as a comprehensive, ongoing commitment rather than a temporary fix or occasional concern. They understand that the quality of their nutrition directly impacts their energy levels, cognitive function, mood stability, and overall vitality, so they prioritize eating whole, nutrient-dense foods rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, healthy fats, and quality protein while minimizing processed foods, added sugars, excessive caffeine, and unhealthy fats that cause inflammation and energy crashes. They know that their digestive system is central to their health and often include probiotics, fiber, and hydration to support gut health. Exercise is not merely a hobby but a daily priority, as they recognize that regular physical activity enhances cardiovascular health, muscular strength, flexibility, endurance, and metabolic function, while also stimulating the release of endorphins and other neurotransmitters that improve mental clarity, reduce stress, and elevate mood. They incorporate a balanced mix of aerobic, strength, flexibility, and mobility training to optimize body function and prevent injury, understanding that sedentary lifestyles increase risks of chronic diseases and reduce lifespan. Sleep is fiercely protected in their routines because they appreciate that restorative, high-quality sleep is critical for memory consolidation, emotional regulation, hormonal balance, immune function, and cellular repair. They set consistent sleep and wake times, create calming bedtime rituals, and optimize their sleep environment by controlling light, temperature, and noise. They avoid behaviors that disrupt sleep, such as late caffeine intake, excessive screen time before bed, or irregular schedules, knowing that sleep deprivation impairs judgment, creativity, productivity, and health. Stress management is another pillar of their health care. They practice mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing exercises, yoga, or other relaxation techniques daily to counteract the harmful effects of chronic stress, which can lead to inflammation, anxiety, depression, and physical illness if left unchecked. They also understand the importance of mental health and emotional balance, regularly engaging in practices that foster resilience, gratitude, social connection, and self-awareness to maintain psychological well-being. Preventive health care is embedded in their lifestyle. They schedule regular medical checkups, dental visits, and screenings to detect potential issues early. And they listen attentively to their bodies, responding promptly to symptoms or signs of imbalance instead of ignoring or suppressing them. They avoid harmful habits such as smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, or substance abuse, recognizing these erode health and longevity. Taking care of health also means making disciplined choices and sacrifices, such as saying no to late nights, junk food, and excessive work when it threatens their well-being, because they prioritize long-term vitality over short-term gratification. They balance work, rest, and play to avoid burnout, knowing that a healthy lifestyle enhances creativity, concentration, problem-solving abilities, and emotional intelligence, all of which fuel professional and personal success. They view their body as the ultimate asset. Without it, no amount of skill, knowledge, or opportunity matters, and so they invest in it daily through mindful eating, movement, rest, and mental care. This integrated approach to health empowers them with sustained energy, sharper focus, faster recovery from setbacks, and a resilient spirit, making it one of the most critical habits that supports and amplifies every other habit on the journey to success. Their dedication to health is not occasional or reactive, but proactive and preventative, understanding that nurturing their well-being over time compounds into greater productivity, happiness, and longevity, allowing them to live rich, vibrant lives full of accomplishment and meaning. Chapter 6. Master Self-Discipline. Mastering self-discipline is one of the most transformative and foundational habits that separates successful individuals from those who struggle to realize their potential, because it serves as the internal engine that drives consistent action toward meaningful goals despite inevitable distractions, temptations, emotional fluctuations, and external obstacles. Unlike fleeting motivation, which depends on mood or circumstances and can quickly dissipate, self-discipline is a cultivated mental muscle that allows a person to maintain focus, adhere to priorities, and persist in efforts even when the initial excitement fades or challenges arise. Successful people understand that self-discipline is not about harsh self-denial or suppressing all pleasures, but about achieving balance, choosing delayed gratification that aligns with their long-term vision over immediate, short-lived pleasures that ultimately undermine progress. They recognize that willpower, though finite in the short term, can be strengthened like a muscle through daily practice, repetition, and creating supportive routines that reduce the cognitive load of decision-making. For example, they establish clear habits and rituals around sleep, nutrition, exercise, work, and learning, so these become automatic behaviors that don't require constant mental energy to initiate. This systematization frees up their focus for complex challenges and creative problem-solving, rather than wasting energy on trivial decisions. Furthermore, mastering self-discipline requires deep self-awareness and reflection. Successful people regularly monitor their thoughts, feelings, and triggers to understand when and why their self-control weakens, and they take proactive steps to modify their environment or mindset to reduce temptations and distractions, such as limiting access to social media, structuring their day to avoid peak fatigue periods, or surrounding themselves with supportive peers who reinforce accountability. They also practice emotional regulation, recognizing that impulses often arise from stress, boredom, or negative emotions, and they cultivate techniques like mindfulness, meditation, or journaling to manage these feelings without losing sight of their goals. When setbacks or failures inevitably occur, disciplined individuals avoid falling into self-criticism or defeatism. Instead, they quickly forgive themselves, analyze what went wrong, extract lessons, and refocus their efforts with renewed determination. This resilience builds momentum over time, as every successful act of self-control reinforces their identity as someone who is reliable, focused, and capable of overcoming challenges. Mastery of self-discipline also empowers them to set and uphold high standards in all areas of life, resisting peer pressure or societal distractions that encourage mediocrity or procrastination. It enables them to break large, daunting goals into manageable steps and maintain steady progress without being overwhelmed by perfectionism or impatience. They learn to prioritize essential tasks, saying no to non-essential activities that do not serve their purpose, and manage their time efficiently by adhering to schedules and deadlines, which further reinforces disciplined behavior. Importantly, self-discipline extends beyond work and productivity. It also includes consistent care for physical health, mental well-being, relationships, and personal growth, because they see these domains as interconnected pillars supporting sustained success. Their commitment to discipline builds self-confidence and autonomy, as they realize they are in control of their choices and outcomes, not victims of circumstance or fleeting feelings. Over time, self-discipline becomes an ingrained part of their character, shaping their identity and enabling them to handle adversity with grace, make difficult decisions decisively, and pursue excellence relentlessly. Without self-discipline, even the greatest talents, ideas, or opportunities remain unfulfilled potential, but with it, individuals unlock the power to transform aspirations into reality through persistent, deliberate, and focused effort day after day, regardless of external conditions. Mastery of self-discipline is not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing journey of refinement, reflection, and recommitment, which ultimately leads to profound personal freedom, mastery over one's environment, and the fulfillment of one's highest ambitions. Chapter 7. Build strong networks. Building strong networks is a fundamental and multifaceted habit that successful people intentionally cultivate because they recognize that personal and professional growth is rarely a solo journey. Rather, it is deeply interconnected with the relationships and communities they foster, which serve as catalysts for opportunities, knowledge exchange, emotional support, and collaborative innovation. These individuals understand that a strong network is not merely a collection of names or contacts, but a living, dynamic ecosystem of meaningful, reciprocal relationships built on trust, respect, and shared value. From early in their journey, they dedicate time and conscious effort to meeting new people, engaging authentically, and nurturing connections by genuinely investing in others' success without an immediate expectation of return. They approach networking as an ongoing process rather than a one-time event, understanding that deep bonds require patience, consistency, and intentional communication. Successful networkers diversify their circles by connecting with people from varied industries, backgrounds, and expertise, appreciating that diversity enriches their perspective, sparks creativity, and opens doors to unexpected opportunities that a homogeneous group cannot provide. They actively participate in professional associations, social clubs, conferences, online forums, and community events, knowing that these platforms enable them to meet like-minded individuals as well as mentors, potential collaborators, and thought leaders who can challenge and inspire them. Equally important is their emphasis on quality over quantity. They prioritize building authentic relationships characterized by empathy, active listening, honesty, and mutual support, which differentiates them from superficial networkers who focus solely on transactional gains. Their communication skills are refined. They master the art of meaningful conversations, remember personal details, follow up consistently, and offer help proactively, which strengthens bonds and builds a reputation of reliability and generosity. Successful networkers understand the importance of reciprocity, so they freely share knowledge, resources, introductions, and encouragement, which naturally fosters goodwill and loyalty. They also leverage technology and social media strategically to maintain and expand their networks, balancing digital connections with in-person interactions to keep relationships vibrant and personal. Their networks serve as a rich resource for problem-solving, brainstorming, and gaining diverse perspectives that fuel innovation and inform decision-making. Moreover, strong networks provide emotional resilience by offering encouragement, advice, and mentorship during difficult periods, helping them navigate setbacks with greater confidence and support. They are conscious of the energy they bring to relationships, aiming to be positive, reliable, and trustworthy collaborators who contribute value consistently. Over time, these well-nurtured connections evolve into a supportive community that not only accelerates their career growth, but also enhances their personal development and sense of belonging. Building strong networks requires discipline and intentionality. They schedule regular check-ins, remember key milestones of their contacts, and create opportunities for mutual benefit, thereby transforming acquaintances into lifelong allies. Their network becomes a strategic asset that amplifies their influence, opens doors to new markets, resources, and ideas, and creates collaborative opportunities that multiply their impact far beyond what they could achieve alone. This habit of network building is both a mindset and a practice rooted in generosity, authenticity, and strategic foresight, which empowers them to thrive in complex, interconnected environments where relationships are often the currency of success. Ultimately, those who master the art of building strong networks enjoy enriched lives filled with support, inspiration, growth, and meaningful collaboration that continually propel them toward their highest aspirations. Chapter 8. Take Responsibility. Taking responsibility is one of the most profound and empowering habits that successful individuals consistently develop and embody because it fundamentally shifts their mindset from passivity and blame to active ownership and control over their lives, actions, and results. These individuals fully recognize that their current circumstances, whether positive or negative, are largely the outcome of their own choices, decisions, habits, and responses rather than random chance or external forces beyond their influence. They reject the common tendency to blame others, external events, or bad luck for setbacks, failures, or unmet goals, understanding that such excuses only serve to disempower and trap a person in a victim mentality that limits growth and achievement. Instead, they embrace accountability by honestly and objectively assessing their role in every situation, no matter how challenging, and they take deliberate steps to learn from mistakes rather than deny or justify them. This radical acceptance of responsibility means they actively seek feedback and reflect deeply on their behaviors, decisions, and attitudes to identify areas for improvement and change. By doing so, they transform obstacles and failures into valuable lessons and opportunities for growth, seeing them not as punishments, but as essential parts of the journey toward mastery and success. Taking responsibility also extends to fulfilling commitments with unwavering integrity, ensuring that they follow through on promises, meet deadlines, and hold themselves accountable to the highest standards of professionalism and personal conduct. They understand that this reliability builds trust and respect in both personal and professional relationships, making them dependable partners, leaders, and collaborators. Moreover, they take ownership not only of external results, but also of their internal state's emotions, thoughts, and attitudes, recognizing that their mindset heavily influences outcomes. Rather than blaming circumstances or other people for negative feelings such as frustration, fear, or doubt, they take responsibility for managing their mental and emotional well-being through practices like self-reflection, mindfulness, and positive self-talk. This comprehensive ownership empowers them with the ability to respond proactively to challenges rather than reacting impulsively or defensively. They know that by controlling their responses, they maintain clarity, focus, and direction, even in adversity. Importantly, taking responsibility fosters resilience and self-confidence because it shifts the locus of control inward, enabling individuals to realize that they are the primary agents of change in their own lives. This sense of agency drives motivated, deliberate action and reduces feelings of helplessness or victimhood that can stall progress. It also encourages a growth mindset where continuous learning and self-improvement become natural and ongoing pursuits rather than occasional efforts. In essence, successful people who take responsibility liberate themselves from the limitations imposed by blaming others or circumstances, replacing excuse-making with empowered decision-making. They develop the courage to confront uncomfortable truths, accept constructive criticism, and adapt their strategies with humility and persistence. This habit leads to greater emotional maturity as they become less reactive and more intentional, able to regulate impulses and focus on what they can control. Taking responsibility also means embracing the consequences of their actions, both good and bad, without deflection, which strengthens integrity and personal honor. Over time, this accountability mindset creates a virtuous cycle of trustworthiness, improved relationships, and increased influence as others come to rely on their consistency and character. Ultimately, owning one's life and choices is the cornerstone of genuine freedom, success, and fulfillment, enabling individuals to shape their destiny actively rather than being at the mercy of external forces. This habit fuels perseverance, as setbacks are no longer seen as dead ends, but as invitations to recalibrate and try again with greater wisdom. It encouraged proactive problem-solving and strategic thinking, because responsible individuals focus on what they can do to improve situations rather than wasting energy on complaints or blame. They build a reputation as leaders who inspire confidence through their accountability and reliability. By taking responsibility, they align their actions with their values and goals, fostering coherence and authenticity in everything they do. This comprehensive and unwavering commitment to ownership of actions, outcomes, emotions, and growth is a defining characteristic that empowers successful people to continuously evolve, overcome obstacles, and realize their highest potential in life. Chapter 9. Stay consistent. Staying consistent is an indispensable habit that successful individuals rigorously develop because they recognize that true achievement is less about sporadic bursts of effort or sudden inspiration and more about the relentless, steady application of effort over extended periods, which cumulatively builds momentum, fosters resilience, and yields exponential growth in every area of life. These individuals understand that consistency is the key that transforms small, seemingly insignificant daily actions into massive, life-altering outcomes by leveraging the power of compound progress, where each day's effort stacks upon the last, creating a snowball effect that propels them steadily toward their goals. They know that talent, intelligence, or even initial motivation can provide a head start. But without consistent action, these advantages quickly dissipate, leading to frustration and unmet potential. Therefore, successful people commit to a disciplined approach of showing up and doing the work regardless of fluctuating emotions, external distractions, or temporary setbacks, understanding that consistency builds trust in themselves and their process, which is crucial for maintaining confidence and long-term motivation. They meticulously plan and design routines that fit realistically into their lifestyle, allowing them to create habits that require minimal mental energy to maintain, thereby reducing resistance and decision fatigue. This involves breaking down large, intimidating goals into manageable daily tasks that focus on gradual improvement rather than instant perfection, reinforcing the mindset that progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. They resist the urge to skip steps, procrastinate, or wait for the right moment, knowing that irregular or erratic efforts waste energy and disrupt the rhythm necessary for sustained growth. Even when results are not immediately visible or when faced with obstacles, failures, or slow progress, they remain patient and committed, trusting the process and their ability to adapt without losing momentum. Staying consistent also entails regular reflection and adjustment of strategies to ensure that actions remain aligned with evolving goals and circumstances, thereby maintaining effectiveness while preserving the habit of steady effort. They incorporate rest and recovery into their schedules to prevent burnout, recognizing that sustainable consistency requires balancing hard work with self-care. Accountability mechanisms are crucial in their approach. They track their progress diligently, set benchmarks, and often share their goals and commitments with trusted peers or mentors who help reinforce discipline and provide motivation. Through this unwavering commitment to consistency, they develop resilience and discipline, which serve as pillars that enable them to push through challenges, overcome procrastination, and stay focused amidst distractions. Their ability to maintain steady effort over time allows them to master skills, deepen expertise, and build a reputation for reliability and professionalism, which in turn opens doors to greater opportunities and collaborations. They understand that consistency is not synonymous with rigidity, but is rather a flexible, adaptive process that requires perseverance, strategic tweaks, and a growth mindset to sustain momentum over the long haul. This habit fosters emotional stability and confidence, as consistent progress diminishes anxiety and self-doubt, replacing it with a sense of control and empowerment. Moreover, consistency helps in cultivating patience and humility, as successful individuals learn to value the journey and incremental gains, recognizing that meaningful success rarely happens overnight, but is earned through persistent effort. The cumulative effect of staying consistent manifests in improved productivity, enhanced creativity, better time management, and ultimately, the achievement of goals that once seemed distant or unattainable. Through daily commitment, they build a solid foundation for lifelong learning, growth, and success, proving that sustained effort, even in small doses, is far more powerful than sporadic genius or fleeting inspiration. This habit also builds a feedback loop where each small victory reinforces motivation and deepens commitment, making it easier to continue the cycle of consistent action. Over time, the discipline of consistency becomes an integral part of their identity and lifestyle, shaping their character, work ethic, and approach to challenges. It empowers them to navigate uncertainty and change with confidence, knowing that steady progress will ultimately lead to mastery and accomplishment. Ultimately, staying consistent is the cornerstone that turns dreams into reality by bridging the gap between intention and execution, allowing successful people to harness the full potential of their efforts and create lasting impact in their personal and professional lives. Chapter 10. Reflect and Improve. Reflecting and improving is an indispensable habit that successful individuals practice with great intentionality because they understand that continuous self-evaluation and adaptation are fundamental to sustained growth, mastery, and long-term achievement in any area of life. This habit involves setting aside regular, dedicated time to pause and critically analyze their actions, decisions, and outcomes with honesty and openness, recognizing that without reflection, it's impossible to identify areas needing improvement or to reinforce effective behaviors. Successful people avoid falling into the trap of mindless repetition or complacency by actively questioning what worked well, what didn't, and why, digging deeply into the root causes of both successes and failures, rather than merely skimming the surface or assigning blame to external factors. They view every experience, including setbacks and mistakes, as a valuable learning opportunity rather than a source of discouragement or shame, which fosters a growth mindset that embraces challenges as catalysts for development rather than threats to self-worth. This process requires vulnerability and humility, as they willingly confront uncomfortable truths about their limitations, blind spots, and errors without defensiveness, allowing them to cultivate emotional intelligence and maturity that enhance both personal and professional relationships. Reflection is not an occasional or passive activity, but a structured and active practice integrated into their routines, whether daily journaling, weekly reviews, or monthly strategic assessments that helps maintain alignment between their actions and overarching goals and values. They also seek and welcome feedback from mentors, peers, and collaborators, understanding that external perspectives can reveal insights and blind spots they may miss on their own, and they incorporate this feedback thoughtfully to refine their approach. Through reflection, successful individuals identify patterns of behavior, recurring challenges, and emerging opportunities, enabling them to make informed, deliberate adjustments to strategies, habits, and mindsets that keep them adaptive and resilient in rapidly changing environments. This continuous cycle of evaluation and improvement sharpens their problem-solving abilities and fosters innovative thinking by encouraging experimentation, risk-taking, and learning from diverse experiences. Moreover, reflecting regularly enhances self-awareness, allowing them to monitor their motivation, focus, and emotional state, which helps prevent burnout, maintain balance, and sustain long-term engagement with their pursuits. The habit of reflection also instills patience and persistence, as they appreciate that meaningful progress often involves incremental changes and setbacks that require persistence and course correction rather than immediate perfection. By committing to this process, they create a feedback loop where insights gained from reflection inform future actions, which are then evaluated in turn, producing continuous refinement and evolution of skills, knowledge, and performance. This iterative growth cycle transforms them into lifelong learners who are always striving to improve not just outcomes, but also the processes, systems, and mindsets that drive those outcomes. Over time, this leads to increasing competence, confidence, and clarity about their purpose and direction, reducing self-doubt and enhancing decision-making quality. The habit also strengthens accountability, as reflecting on commitments and progress highlights areas needing attention and motivates timely corrective action rather than procrastination or avoidance. Furthermore, successful people understand that reflection and improvement are deeply connected to resilience. They develop the capacity to recover quickly from failures by learning from them and applying those lessons to future endeavors, which builds mental toughness and adaptability. This practice cultivates a mindset of continuous refinement, where they view success not as a fixed destination, but as an evolving journey that demands ongoing effort, learning, and adjustment. It empowers them to stay relevant and competitive by evolving their skills, knowledge, and strategies in response to changing circumstances, industries, and personal aspirations. The commitment to reflect and improve also fosters deeper creativity and innovation, as they analyze past experiences to generate new ideas, approaches, and solutions that break through limitations and conventional thinking. Ultimately, this habit becomes a cornerstone of their identity and success philosophy, integrating self-awareness, accountability, humility, and proactive learning into every aspect of life, enabling them to consistently elevate their performance, achieve their goals, and realize their full potential with clarity and confidence. Conclusion. In conclusion, the path to genuine success is neither a simple stroke of luck nor the outcome of occasional bursts of inspiration, but rather the result of cultivating a comprehensive set of intentional habits that together create a strong foundation for sustained achievement, personal growth, and fulfillment throughout life. These habits serve as guiding principles that influence every decision, action, and mindset, helping individuals to navigate the complexities and uncertainties inherent in any worthwhile pursuit. Waking up early is more than a routine. It symbolizes a commitment to maximizing time, starting the day with clarity and purpose, and setting a proactive tone that empowers productivity and mental focus. Setting clear goals transforms vague desires into actionable targets, providing direction and measurable milestones that fuel motivation and guide priorities. Prioritizing daily planning enables effective time management, and ensures that efforts align with long-term objectives, preventing distractions and wasted energy. Continuous learning cultivates intellectual curiosity and adaptability, equipping individuals with new skills and perspectives necessary to innovate and stay relevant in a rapidly changing world. Taking care of health is essential, as physical and mental well-being form the foundation for sustained energy, resilience, and cognitive performance, without which other efforts can falter. Mastering self-discipline allows individuals to maintain focus and resist temptations, ensuring that they follow through on commitments even when motivation wanes. Building strong networks fosters collaboration, support, and opportunities, reminding us that success is rarely achieved in isolation, but through relationships grounded in trust and mutual benefit. Taking responsibility is a powerful shift that moves individuals from passivity to agency, encouraging them to own their choices, learn from failures, and actively shape their circumstances rather than react helplessly to external events. Staying consistent is the engine that drives progress forward, transforming small, repetitive actions into compounding success, and teaching patience and perseverance in the face of obstacles. Finally, reflecting and improving creates a dynamic cycle of self-awareness and growth, where experiences are analyzed, lessons are extracted, and strategies are refined, leading to continuous enhancement of performance and personal development. These habits do not operate in isolation. They intertwine and reinforce one another, creating momentum that carries individuals through inevitable setbacks and challenges with resilience and determination. They foster a mindset that embraces growth over perfection, process over outcome, and learning over comfort, which is critical for long-term success and satisfaction. By embedding these habits into daily life, individuals develop the capacity to turn aspirations into reality through deliberate, sustained effort and conscious choice. The cumulative effect is transformative, empowering people to break free from limiting beliefs, procrastination, and distractions, and to cultivate a life that is purposeful, impactful, and deeply fulfilling. Success, therefore, is accessible not to a privileged few, but to anyone willing to commit to this holistic approach, an approach grounded in patience, perseverance, self-awareness, and continuous improvement. This journey demands humility to accept feedback and learn from failure, courage to face uncertainty and keep moving forward, and wisdom to balance ambition with self-care and meaningful relationships. Ultimately, adopting these habits equips individuals not only to achieve their external goals, but also to foster inner strength, clarity, and peace, enabling them to thrive in all areas of life and leave a lasting positive legacy. This comprehensive framework for success transcends quick fixes or superficial advice, offering a sustainable, realistic blueprint for anyone determined to unlock their full potential and create a life of genuine achievement and happiness.